Our penultimate match with the women's survival of the fittest getting the main spot is the men's ROH world title being defended by Bandido against Blake Christian. Like you said off the top, there is a lot and a long build to Christian as a challenger, but then there's also the recently added looming specter of Swerve Strickland calling Bandido out, the bracket of the Owen Cup. Christian has been on the rise for a very long time within ROH. I went back and looked into this. He hasn't lost any ROH matches since he was eliminated far too early from that men's survival of the fittest back in December. He hasn't lost an ROH tag match since October. Do you want to take a guess? And I'll give you like 3 months or something like that as to how long ago it was that he lost an ROH singles match.
I'm not sure. Gosh, it has to be like a year.
It's nearly 2 years. It's a July 2024 episode, episode 77, and we're at 165 now or whatever it is.
Wow.
Blake Christian lost a singles match to Leo Rush last time. He was actually pinned in a one-on-one in ROH. So there you go. This is theoretically a long time coming. We have a long-standing champion in Bandido, maybe not quite as long as our women's champion, but if we were talking off of the top about kind of and the winds of change or whatever the metaphor that was used in the promo for this show, the switch over to the studio setting, new blood coming in, blah blah blah. I think a lot of people were looking at these two title matches and saying at least one, if not both, of these titles are changing hands. So,
in particular, I think when I saw the way that this was laid out, because Blake is very clearly the heel, it's like they're putting this one on first because, like a survival of the fittest is a big match. But part of me was thinking, are they putting this on first because they don't want to have a heel winning be the final image of the pay-per-view? And indeed, when the match gets underway, you heard the new champ chants.
Yep.
So that should tell you something.
It wasn't. They weren't even necessarily. They weren't cheering Blake Christian the character. They might have been cheering Blake Christian the worker. It was more a sort of sense of okay, all right, we're kind of ready to.
You've built this story. Yep. You've built this story up for a very long time. Again, the video package that they played repeatedly during, last night and tonight. This had been building for a year, and he feels like Bandido has been dodging him. The Jay Lethal mentorship, all of these things that have been going on, and the commentary sort of providing some context. Blake has been trying to get this title match for a year. And it's not that Bandido has dodged him, but just other stuff has come up. But you do end up with this being in this position where Blake has felt entitled to a championship shot, and he just hasn't gotten it. So you made this feel really important, and you made it feel important to the exclusion of any other potential challengers for the title,
for the past 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, which is always tricky. That's if you look at the way things have gone with the AEW world title since the beginning of the year. You always had 2 or 3 people solidly in the mix, who could be challenging at any given time. That isn't true in ROH. This is Blake is your guy.
Yep. Very, very, very different from the AEW picture right now. Strap in, folks. After Christian takes a quick powder to begin, we get some very flashy flips and counters and evasions. Bandido has some extra mustard on his chops. The idea is that Christian has really gotten under his skin, not just with the theft of the mask, but with him kind of calling out Bandido's credibility as a fighting champion. He jumps into the crowd to party with them for a second after a tope suicida. Christian gets a chop block on the apron after a distraction from Lethal and hits that very cool looking corkscrew suicida. I can't remember his kind of pet name for it. Another distraction gets Lethal and Johnson ejected, with Ian Riccoboni making a nice ejection versus Lethal injection crack. Christian goes to work on Bandido's knee. He gets a draping double stomp. Bandido goes for his delayed vertical press slam. However, Christian gets a triangle applied and Bandido has to lift him up for a powerbomb to escape that. Bandido is powering through the knee pain he's been subjected to with a flurry of offense and a knee strike for a 2 count about 13 minutes in. Christian keeps the target on the knee with a dragon screw and goes for a roll through leg lock, but Bandido steps up and lifts him for the deadlift suplex. And a pair of Northern Light suplexes, basically kind of a modified version of this of the new deadlift 21 plex that send Christian to the floor. Christian dives through the ropes from the apron for a satellite DDT on the floor. A lethal injection gets him a 2 count back inside. Christian then clears off the announce table. I really appreciated like Caprice just kind of like, generally the whole reaction of the announcers is, oh, come on, what are you doing? And Caprice was just selling, Blake Christian's a crazy man. Yeah, sure, fine. No, okay. Didn't need that paper. Nope, yep. Don't need my drink.
It's fine. Yep. It's all right. It's great. It's good. You just do what you want. Yeah, I thought that Caprice was the very good sort of slightly like the not chicken shit. That sounds unkind. But the sort of
your commentators should always be selling, for and backing off from any actual credible wrestler, even if you are a former wrestler. Yeah,
exactly.
Christian's obviously going for some sort of suplex or driver on the table, but Bandido reverses the grip into a deadlift, very like, when an opponent is struggling, like he's not literally sandbagging, but he's making a good show of struggling against a suplex. That's what Christian is doing here. So Bandido really has to use his core strength to get him up for a vertical suplex, which shakes but does not break the table. Back inside, Bandido hits the 21 plex for the 1, 2, and that's all. As Christian makes the rare 21 plex kick out. Christian takes Bandido to the second rope for a poison rana and then a 450 for a 2 count. Christian goes for a 21 plex of his own, but that is blocked. Bandido hits a Claudio-style deadlift inside-out suplex. Christian then gets the knees up to block a shooting star. Bandido drop kicks Christian out of the air when he's going for a springboard crossbody.
That spot was so great. Tight. Yeah,
you've seen this before, and it's often okay, sometimes less so. This was as good. This was pinpoint of that anti-air spot as you're going to get. Yeah. Very fast strikes from both as we're going down the stretch here. Christian super kicks to counter out of a 21 plex. Bandido gets the X knee. A Spanish fly from Christian gets a 2. Christian rolls out to grab the title belt and place it on the apron. Angle alert, perhaps. Tells Bandido, it's my fucking time. He goes for the bell and hits the low blow while the ref is pulling it away, a spot we have seen all over the place across pro wrestling, I feel, in the past 3 or 4 months. To hit a double curb stomp for the 1, 2. Nope, that's it. That is not going to be the finish of this match. Bandido gets a Styles class to put Christian square in the position of the deadlift. 21 plex for the 1, 2, 3, as Bandido retains in about 27 minutes, I believe.
Really, really good match. Kind of shocking to say it is not the best one of Bandido's title defenses, but he had 2 all-timers. This one was a great match though, and they both worked really hard. Blake Christian he's excellent in the ring, but he just brings that heel character so well to the fore, and he's someone who just is able to sell that kind of hateful heel to an audience very quickly. That said, this was the wrong answer.
I agree.
It should have been, yeah. Like Blake was right. It is his fucking time. You have plenty for Bandido to do coming up on AEW, and I guess maybe you're thinking, okay, you need some big names to sell pay-per-views, but you know what else sells pay-per-views? Good storytelling and characters that people can get invested in, and Blake's your baby for that right now. And I think if the idea is, yes, your vanilla baby. I think if the idea is that, Blake isn't going to be a big enough name on his own to put asses in seats for a pay-per-view, they should maybe look at what JCW was doing when they had him as their champion, because he was for a long time, but he wasn't always necessarily the focal point of a pay-per-view. The main event of a pay-per-view can be a grudge match. It can be a group match. It can be a lot of things. It can be for one of your other titles. Like, if you don't feel that this guy is going to be the anchor for your 4 times a year, 3 times a year show, there are ways to work around that and still have him be a compelling champion. And I don't even know if he wouldn't be able to be that anchor for the crowd that you are trying to draw. I think he could absolutely be your champion, but this was a fumble to me.
Yep. In terms of the bargaining, trying to make sense of it, Pepe Silva stringing it. I think the only thing I can think of is that we are going to. The only thing that would justify this in retrospect is if we get into some weird, outlandish, like Swerve ends up specifically challenging and defeating Bandido for the ROH belt in order to try to elevate the promotion, to lead us to get the TV deal, something like some.
But that was the theory as to why Chris Jericho won the title.
Yes,
and that didn't
nope.
I don't know that Swerve Strickland, again, one of my very, very favorites, but I don't know. You could never argue that he is going to be a bigger pull than Chris Jericho.
I guess the thing was the Jericho stuff. This was back at the time when all of the ROH stuff was fully integrated into AEW, and a bunch of people lost their minds over that and were complaining about the ROH stuff happening on AEW. And then Tony decided to kind of re-silo it, and it's been re-siloed ever since. And this is the audience you have, and like you said, that's an audience that is absolutely ready for Blake Christian to be the champ here. To the match itself. Yeah, this is maybe not at the level of Bandido versus Takeshita or Bandido versus Hechicero. It's right below those, though.
It's third.
It's third. That sounds like that's faint praise, but holy crap, those two matches, those ranked very high.
Legitimate match of the year contenders.
Absolutely. Yeah. The closest thing to a complaint that I have about this is that I would have almost liked to have seen a little bit more space between the table spot and the 21 plex kick out, just to accentuate the ladder. There was so much, the crowd was still reacting to the table spot when the 21 plex happened, and it was almost like they didn't.
Maybe it was they kind of wanted. Maybe they kind of wanted to play that down, because when you see him kick out of it, it's like, okay, here we go, home stretch, he's winning. So maybe it was almost like they. Well, I'm probably. Giving this way more thought than they did. It's did they want to play it down because it's not supposed to be leading to a big change? And anyway,
but no, very, 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 very good match. As we imagined, off of the top, there is some noise in the crowd, and the camera is up pretty tight on Bandido. Tight,
always a sure sign that someone's foot is coming at your head.
And it is time for someone to make a house call as Swerve rushes the ring and hits Bandido with a pair of kicks. Nana's with him talking trash. Most of it, when you have, again, a star of Swerve's stature making a kind of a surprise run in on a quote secondary promotion like Ring of Honor, the natural reaction is just, oh, we're cheering anybody from the big company. Good portion of the crowd, I'd say slight majority of the crowd, doing their duty here and booing Swerve. So that's nice to see. The two of them, Swerve and Nana, begin walking to the back, but then slowly come back to the ring with a chair. A few of the crowd are, chanting "Whose house?" As Swerve then sets the chair up in the middle, and straight up hits a cop killer to Bandido on the chair.
Which they did not name. I thought they said calling back to Homicide. They did. I'm like, are they going to say the name of the move? Because I haven't.
Ian, I respect you trying to be a company man and trying to kind of like walk a narrow line here, but come on, man, you're with friends. It's okay. Yes. It's okay. You can call the move by its name.
Yeah, this is like, it was almost like, because he said, a callback to former ROH champion Homicide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what does he call that move again? Yeah,
we're gonna call it freedom of speech, and it's going to be the bad add-on track with Jello Biafra on vocals that gets substituted onto reissues of the first Body Count album. Yeah, not nearly as good a track as the original, but anyway, I'm not going to give you my 10 minutes about Body Count or whatever it is right here. Anyway, so there we go.
Why not?
Because we have a very important main event to get to, Kate.
Are you sure you don't want to talk about Body? I'm fine if you want to talk about Body. Spoiler alert, the men's title match was the best match on the show.
Absolutely. by a substantial margin.
If the Post Wrestling Cafe were to undergo a drug test in the month of May, we would be testing positive because we are overloaded with content. We are going to be reviewing Hulk Hogan, Real American, all 4 episodes this month. Plus, we will go inside the Manosphere with a review of the latest Louis Theroux documentary. We will also have coverage of the Ronda Rousey-Gina Carano fight, also taking place on Netflix. Rewind Away tackles WCW Super Brawl 2, and we cover NXT TakeOver Brooklyn from 2015. All that, plus all of the XL editions on a weekly basis, Collision Course, Daredevil Born Again, and so much more. It can all be yours at postwrestlingcafe.com. $8 gets you in the door.